Hey, I'm back, and right now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about negotiating salary. Okay, so if you're a new professional dancer, I do not recommend negotiating salary. Reason being is that most casting directors and companies that are employing dancers have a base rate that they start dancers off with. And in my opinion, when you get your first job, you should be humble and grateful because that person is giving you a break. That person is giving you an opportunity to begin your professional resume, which will then in turn help you to get more jobs. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be paid or that you should be paid a non-livable wage, but what I am saying is that if the wage you are offered will pay your bills and you will survive off of it, then that is a great place to start. So what do you do if you've had some professional experience behind you and you get offered another contract and the salary they give you is the same or less than you were making on your last contract? Well, you might decide you want to negotiate salary. This can be a scary thing because in the back of your mind, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't accept this, they'll just find someone else because we're replaceable. There are hundreds of other dancers who want this spot who will probably take it for less money. And while that can be true, in my experience, that has not been the case. Usually what happens, or what has happened in my experience, is that I'll be offered a contract with a salary figure. And for me, if that salary figure is the same as the last one or even less, I will negotiate salary. And how I do that is I will call or I will send an email depending on how we've been communicating. And I will inquire about the salary. I will say something like, on my last contract, I was paid this amount. I have more experience now, and I was wondering if you could go up on that salary. Sometimes the person right away will say, ooh, I'm sorry, that's the highest we can offer. And then there you have it, and you can make a decision on if you want the job or not. Most times what has happened for me is the person will come back and say, yes, we can offer you this amount. And it's usually a higher amount. And then I'll accept the contract. The other thing I'll say is that you have to do it before you sign the contract. If you've signed the contract and then you find out that your coworker is getting paid more and you have the same amount of experience, but they thought to negotiate and you didn't, you're not going to get a raise in salary most likely. Probably what will happen is they will say, no, I'm sorry, we've offered you the salary and you've signed the contract. So if you're going to negotiate salary, definitely do it before you sign the contract. And I would suggest doing it in a way that is not demanding, but more coming from a curious place, as in, I was wondering what's the most you could offer, or I was wondering if you could go up in the salary at all. And you're going to want to say why you think you deserve that. You have more experience, or your last contract was the same amount, cost of living has gone up, and you want to make sure that your bills will be paid while you're on contract. And in my experience, I've negotiated salary several times, and 9 times out of 10, I have gotten a higher salary. But I definitely did not do that on my first contract. I was just very grateful to be offered a job. And in fact, that has been my attitude throughout my entire career, is to be completely grateful for every single opportunity I have been afforded. Because in my opinion, getting paid to dance is the ultimate is the ultimate gift. And anyone who's willing to pay me to perform, I am grateful to.